Hey everybody, I decided since it has been 5 months since I purchased my 2017 Kawasaki Ninja 650 that I would do a dislike, why I bought the bike kind of video. So stay tuned, I'm sure this is going to be so enlightening. So, I purchased this bike, and I looked at plenty of bikes. I was trying to do a step up from my R3, and my husband kept showing me bikes, and I wasn't quite sure if I liked them. I'm not much into the bug transformer kind of look. I wanted something that looked like my R3. Stumbled upon the Kawasaki, and the first thing that caught my eye was the front. The look just was like, that's what I want. And as most know, Kawasaki revamped the 2017 Ninja 650, and one of the things that they did was they gave the front of the bike a more sportier look with new low-profile headlights and a dual headlamp design. An FYI for you guys, not that it made a decision at all concerning the purchase of the bike, is the windscreen. The windscreen has 3 adjustable settings: low, medium, and high. It takes an Allen wrench and 4 screws, but now you have to take the screws fully out. This isn't you loosen and push it up. These are fixed positions. So just an FYI, it's a nice little touch that Kawasaki did. Now moving on to the fairings, they redesigned the look of the bike as well with the fairings. One of the things that I do like, by the way, is the turn signals. They are integrated into the front of the side fairings on each side, which thank God that one of the manufacturers stopped with the big floppy ears that we all just truly cannot stand. And they're bright and they are just wonderful. Also with the fairings, something that I found that it might not mean a lot to you is that when designing the fairings, a lot of fairings you will find have a rough edge on the side. If you have to stick your hand in, for some reason it's rough, you're going to get scratches. They took the time and the detail and really put thought into it when redesigning this bike. They're rolled edges. These edges are rolled, they're smooth. I mean, look, just rub your finger back and forth. And I just think that's really shows the quality of where Kawasaki is going. The other feature I liked concerning the fairings is they ended up doing a cutout. You can't quite see it here because I have my frame slider in, but I will put a picture somewhere here to show you it without the frame slider. And the cut is for the frame slider. And again, to detail, the edges are rolled. They are not rough, very nicely done. And I wish more manufacturers would do this. It's where it needs to be as far as the frame slider is concerned, which is in the middle, or of the fairing to protect the fairing. Most purchase no-cut sliders, which is fine, and I understand why. You don't want to cut into a fairing. You could mess up a fairing. Next thing you know, you're spending $300 or $400 for a new fairing. But there also becomes a safety issue sometimes with the frame sliders or the no cut, because like on my R3, they're too close to where your knee would sit, which could cause a big injury if you end up falling. Let's move on now to the ergonomics. Now, the one thing they did is they lowered the seat and they moved the foot pegs and the foot controls up forward 2 to 4 inches, which to give you a more natural posture position. Also, for the bars, they moved the bars slightly forward to give you a more uprighting position. And I will actually get on the bike and show how the position is. Now I am 5'6", so when I stand on the bike, I do not have my motorcycle boots on, so I am tiptoeing. But with my motorcycle boots, I flat foot this with no problem. But as you can see, even with my feet down, I'm at a very upright position, very comfortable. Let me lean it back over a little. As you see, if I put my foot up, it's all comfortable. You know, it's a lot like my R3, and it's not really aggressive at all. A lot of bikes have the aggressive riding position, and that's nice, but I've had 2 kids and a major car accident, and my back just cannot take having that aggressive lay-down position. So if you have that same problem as I do, then this ends up being a perfect bike for you. So now, as I said, the bars are, you know, move slightly forward for better positioning. Basically, your controls are the same. You have your kill switch, your start switch, your lights, your blinkers, your horn, you know, brake levers, and your clutch lever. The nice thing about this with Kawasaki, with the levers, both the brake and the clutch, is they're adjustable on the fly. So if more than one person, like me and my husband, who end up riding the bike, and he's got bigger hands than I do, it's a quick adjustment and they work perfectly. Also, Kawasaki added the assist slipper clutch, which is just a godsend for me because I have the darndest trouble with the rev matching on downshifting. On my R3, I downshift the 4th and always squeak the wheel. So that is just totally awesome. I love that. Next we have is the instrument panel. Now, the one thing I will say I like, hopefully you guys can see this, is it is analog digital. And I will turn it on. And the only complaint I have really about the digital, and you can see it here because I'm kind of in the shadow, is if you're in bright sunlight, it's very hard to see it. I wish they had some way of, you know, using the contrast so you can make it darker, or depending, you know. I really wish. That's my one complaint about that. But as far as it, I love an analog tack. I like to see the numbers that I'm, you know, shifting at. The other thing that's neat about this analog tack is the needle is integrated with a light. And what it does is you can set it, for example, there's 3 stages and 3 light sequences where you could say, have it at pink at 500 RPM, and then easily, you know, when you set to your designation of the RPM you want to shift that, it'll turn red and it'll continue red beyond that. So that's kind of nice. And the digital display comes with, you know, the fuel gauge, gear position, miles per gallon, temperature, odometer, speedometer, 2 trip meters, and a clock. Oh, and there is also another very interesting feature that Kawasaki did, and I'm hoping this shows up. You know how your bike idles maybe differently, and you need to change the idle for one reason or another, altitude, temperature, you know. No tools required. Right here, hopefully you guys can see this, and I'm getting this. Right here, this, right here. That's your idle adjuster. So if you're at a stoplight and you want to adjust the idle, and you just reach down by your leg and adjust the idle. Or pull over, adjust it, and then away you go. No tools needed. I thought that was very clever of Kawasaki to add that in. Next is the exhaust. They did redesign the exhaust for 2017. It is a cat muffler combination. Under the bike, there's no big can sticking out the side, which I just cannot stand. It's a personal preference, but I hate those damn cans. And it really just brings the look of the bike out with not having the can. Now, the only thing is, most of you change your exhaust anyway. I will warn you, it is extremely quiet. You will want to immediately purchase the bike and then go buy an exhaust. I have not changed the exhaust yet. That is something that is on the wish list. Now, as far as the suspension, the back suspension is new. The previous suspension was mounted to the frame. This is a new horizontal back link suspension. I can't speak today. Similar to what is on the ZX-10R. The only complaint I would say about this is it is a little hard to adjust. But I have not touched mine, and I have no problem. The response is beautiful, not one complaint. But now when we talk about the front suspension, yeah, it's a little different. They didn't change anything on the front suspension. It's the same as the 2016. And this is my dislike again. It's non-adjustable and it's too stiff for the street. It either has too much spring tension or too much compression dampening, not sure which. But it would be good for the weekend track guy. So hopefully Kawasaki will change that in the future. Another thing that I love about this bike is the cam system. That is the patented Kawasaki air management system. What it basically does is it redirects the radiator heat and pushes the airflow down to the ground, while the rear fan draws air away from the rear cylinder and exhaust pipe and directs it to the ground on the left side of the bike. And this is for when you're in slow moving traffic or you're at a stop, you know, and it's 95 degrees outside. And the last thing you want is the bike, you know, heating up and making you even hotter when you have gear and everything else on. So overall, I'm pretty happy. And as you see, I don't have many complaints. I think there was what, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 on the outside. So overall, I think it's a wonderful bike. Kawasaki revamped it. They added a new trellis frame, which increased the rigidity and disperses the stress, and it's a lot lighter. They added a new gull arm swing arm. The engine is the same 649cc parallel twin with some tweaks. They added new cam and head design, 36mm throttle bodies with slimmer intake points, 9 atomizing injectors, and a new airbox designed for mid-range power. And trust me, you will feel the mid-range power. There's no doubt that when you take off with this bike, that you can feel the torque and the power between your legs. They really did a good job on revamping the engine. And you know, as far as wheeling, I have done mini wheelies. I'm not a wheelie girl, so you won't see wheelies from me, but it will wheelie. You will have no problem with that if you're a wheelie guy. One of the other things that I really like about this bike is, believe it or not, the fuel mileage. Personally, I haven't gotten big numbers. I think the most I have gotten on a 100-mile ride was 58 miles per gallon. But my husband, who has ridden this bike on a 100-mile ride of back roads, has gotten 75 miles per gallon. Come on, you can't beat that. You can ride forever. But overall, it's a nice bike. It's light. I have ABS, which I have used already, and it does work very well. But it's the weight. For mine, ABS is 429 pounds. Non-ABS is 419 pounds. So if you are looking for a step bike, if you are looking I cannot talk. If you are looking for a step-up bike from your 300, whether it be an R3 or a Ninja or any 300 bike, I highly suggest checking out the Kawasaki Ninja 650. With the lighter weight, it's just as flickable as my R3. It's easy to ride. It's got the same type of riding position, and it's a lot of fun. It just has more power. So, you know, if you're looking for that perfect step-up bike, check out the Kawasaki Ninja 650. These are my 2 cents, and I guess you can call my mini review of what I like and don't like about the Kawasaki. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like my channel, hit the subscribe button. And as always, until next time, brace the rain, ride the wind, and chase the sunset.